forest resources is the envy of many a country, and for many generations has been a source of pride. These natural wonders constantly enrich our lives in so many ways because of dedicated craftsmen who each day work to offer us hardwood veneer and plywood of premier quality. Wood is more popular than ever in our homes. Let's take a look, step by step, at how this true Canadian resource has changed our lives for the better. As soon as the logs arrive from the forest, they're classified by species, inspected, and kept under conditions of optimal humidity to avoid any deterioration during the warm season. The first step is debarking. Taking great care not to damage the log, the bark is peeled off with an evenness that only the sure hand of an experienced technician can accomplish. The bark is recycled to be used as fuel or be shredded as raw materials for other industries. The key to the operation, how and where a log should be cut, depends on the slicing method used to produce the veneer. Modern sawing methods allow us to place the log in the best position to obtain the highest quality and yield, without loss, above all, without damaging the wood. Each log, already identified or registered, has its own barcode. This enables the different parts to be easily identified at any time. The log will be cut in half or into quarters, and each half or quarter log will travel through each step of the process together. The next crucial step in the manufacture of quality veneer involves soaking the logs. To soften the fibers, which is necessary for uniform slicing, the cut logs are put into vats or steamers and completely submerged at temperatures ranging from 80 to 100 degrees Celsius for a period lasting anywhere from 12 to 72 hours. The success of the different cutting methods largely depends on the consistency of the wood fibers. Everything from the hardness of the wood and the size of the logs to the fragility of certain species of wood and the weather conditions affects the water temperature for soaking. For maximum effectiveness, the log should be cut within an hour of the soaking. At this point, the half or quarter logs can be sliced. To ensure that the veneer lots of the same tree are not separated, tags corresponding to a log's barcode are carefully attached and scrupulously verified at each stage of the process. Let's take a look at the different ways of cutting the wood. Flat slicing is the most common cutting method. The half log is positioned with the heart side flat against the flitch table, solidly held and analyzed to determine its particular features. The tools are then adjusted to best take advantage of each log's attributes. The operator then chooses the slicing speed based on the wood species, its hardness or fragility, and the thickness of the veneer required. Slicing is done parallel to a line through its center. This cut produces a light, multicolored, and very distinctive pattern. The slices obtained by this method are always uniform. The blades ensure a clean cut without damaging the wood, no matter what thickness is chosen. The quarter slicing method produces a series of straight lines. The quarter log is mounted on the flitch table such that the log's growth rings hit the blade at right angles. This cut is commonly known as a rift cut. The log size, its natural shape, the particular features of the species of wood, and of course the thickness of the veneer all determine the rotation speed of the log itself. For example, a quarter log of oak like this one will be completely sliced in a few minutes. The cut is done at a slight angle from the position of the quarter log. This method results in a comb or rift grain effect in the different species of oak. The sheets of veneer always remain in their natural order as they emerge. The half-round slicing is a variation of rotary cutting. The grain effects produced by this cut have the characteristics of both rift cut and flat sliced veneer. The cut slightly crosses the annual growth rings. Here again, the veneer sheets are maintained in order as they emerge, so that all parts of the original log are kept together. One by one, the slices of veneer carefully enter the dryer. They will be dried evenly within a few minutes. As the veneer slices leave the dryer, they are once more reassembled to reconstruct the log, which never separates. The identification tags are subject to several verifications. The last step involves examining and classifying the veneer. An expert carefully inspects each log to make sure customers receive quality veneer that meets strict standards. Let's take a look at a totally different way of producing veneer, rotary cutting. Since the logs won't have to be sawed, they are soaked as soon as they arrive at the plant. This ensures a soft bark, which allows for very precise peeling. Next, the wood is positioned and examined by the operator, who adjusts the razor-sharp blade to produce the correct thickness of veneer. Depending on the temperature and the particular characteristics of the wood species, the rotation speed may also be modified. The log rotates towards the blade and is peeled in long, wide sheets like a roll of unwinding tissue. This method creates veneers with very different grain patterns. A large roll of veneer sheets obtained from 4 or 5 logs proceeds towards the dryer. The veneer is unrolled very slowly and carefully as it enters the dryer. As it emerges from the dryer, it is immediately cut into sheets and simultaneously undergoes another quality control check. The sheets are then cut into standard sizes, inspected and classified according to industry standards. The sheets will then be sold as is or spliced to form 4 by 8 sheets of veneer. Clipping the sheets is the initial step in the splicing process. They are cut with an end clipper to obtain sheets that are even in length. A similar clipping or cutting procedure is performed to acquire sheets of a proper width on a double guillotine. Of course, the quality of the veneer panels depends on the precision and angle of the cut. For example, using state-of-the-art technology such as infrared rays lets us determine the width with absolute precision. The panels are then headed toward the glue machine, which bonds the edges of the sheets. After passing inspection, the sheets are now ready for assembly. Next comes the actual splicing. Here we see how the sheets are assembled to produce a book match. The pressure exerted and heat used ensure a solid, consistent jointing. The panels of veneer are now ready. A wide range of matchings are available. Here are a few. A whole piece panel is a single sheet of rotary cut veneer. For a book match, every other component is turned as if it were the pages of a book. In a slip match, adjacent sheets of veneer are placed side by side without being turned. What we call a pleasing match is where the components are matched based on the similarity of their color rather than their grain characteristics. Unmatched panels are where the components are joined without matching the wood grains. Special patterns can be made, such as diamond point or herringbone design. For a rustic walnut effect, each component is chosen from different lots of veneer. Let's watch how our veneer is applied to panels. The panel passes the cylinders, which uniformly apply adhesive to both sides. Whether using particle board or plywood, the bonding is done the same way. After that, the sheets of veneer are placed on top. The technique used to actually manufacture plywood is the same. The sheets of veneer are placed in rotation, alternating the grains horizontally and vertically to ensure the panel's strength. The following step is temporary. Pre-pressing temporarily fixes the panels so they can be more easily handled. The panels are then pressed. Applying heat and exerting heavy pressure are closely monitored to ensure that all pieces are permanently fixed. With the veneer now firmly in place, the panel is sawed at right angles. However, before it is cut along its length and width, the panel's measurements are first checked and the cutting angle then properly adjusted. In the case of oak veneer, the panel must be cleaned with an acid rinse to eliminate all traces of blue stain. To rigorously adhere to the plywood industry's quality standards, each panel is inspected and repaired using razors or wood filler depending on the imperfections. Finally, for a perfectly smooth and even finish, each panel is sanded on both sides before leaving the plant. There are almost no limits when it comes to veneer. From maple, oak, and birch, to cedar, cherry wood, and ash. Whatever wood is chosen, veneers help to improve the work of many craftsmen in countless other industries, both here and abroad. As a matter of fact, Canadian hardwood veneer and plywood are now more and more sought after. The result is that exports of these products are now playing a vital role in the strategic development of companies within our industry. Only by taking great care of our natural wealth of forest resources and by depending on a highly skilled and continuously trained workforce can the hardwood veneer and plywood industry lay the solid foundation for an even brighter tomorrow.